Good evening and welcome to Elias Shoe Cabinet TV, and this is episode number 13. So I have a very, very special guest tonight. So this is our second live interview that we've done with a guest in and on the show. And she's a friend of mine, Lisa Harris, and she's also an author of a book. And in that book, we're going to have a little conversation and educate people about what her book's about and some of the benefits that she can offer us. So this is my friend Lisa. And Lisa, tell me a little bit about your book.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. It's very exciting to be here with you and your audience. I love this. The book is a compilation of almost 200 blogs that I've written over the last couple of years.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Blogging every week for a long time.
Wow.
I am a registered dietitian and personal trainer working specifically with older adults, people 60s, 70s, 80s. And the book is my best tips for living your strongest, most independent life as long as possible. So I've got tips in there, everything from what to do to try and prevent falling. If you do fall, how to get up, what to look for in your house to clear the path so you're not falling, the benefits of a plant-based diet, the benefits of strength training, movement throughout the day, cardiovascular, all kinds of information in there.
Now, do you currently teach anywhere?
I do. I teach an exercise class for older adults. It is qualified through Silver Sneakers. So people that have that program available through their Medicare coverage get to take the class for free. Wow, and that class is Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 9:15, Miss Sue's Dance Studio in Temecula. The best part about this is that once a week, we're just finishing up our class, and the 2- and 3-year-old little girls are in there starting their dance class, and they're adorable, and my ladies love to watch them. It's great.
Very nice, very nice. Mm-hmm. So give us, what would in your books, give me one tip if someone could say, okay, give me your best tip in the book.
My best tip in the book is keep moving. Okay. And the reason I say this is because this affects everybody. It doesn't matter what your physical condition is. If you have a chronic disease, it doesn't matter what it is, because once you sit down, your body just starts to say, we're ready to die. We were built for movement. Yeah. You know, thousands of years ago, we were running. We were chasing our food or trying not to become somebody else's food. And it's only been in the last 50 to 100 years that we've really started to lead a very sedentary life. And I've had clients that have gotten too comfortable in those big overstuffed chairs, and they just get to the point where they literally cannot stand up by themselves. And once you start to sit too much, then your health just starts to really spin downwards.
Yeah, I always say here at the store, a body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest will stay at rest. So keeping active,
exactly,
keeping in motion is the best thing that you can do for your entire body.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Now, I know you do a lot with diabetes.
Right, yes.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with education and,
sure.
and that with the diabetes.
For me, I think the most important thing with diabetes is prediabetes. There are 84 million Americans that have prediabetes. Yeah. Most of them don't even know, and if they don't do anything about this condition, they have a 50% chance within 10 years of slipping into diabetes type 2. Now, we know with prediabetes that it's almost 100% that with lifestyle change, it can be reversed. So if you catch it, there are lots of things that you can do so that you can get your blood sugar under control and you don't slip into that type 2 where you might need a lifetime of insulin and all kinds of side effects, negative side effects that happen with the medications and just the disease itself. Right. We know, for example, that 80% of the blood sugar that our body makes is utilized by muscles. So exercise is really the hidden weapon in the arsenal for people that have prediabetes, because if you get up and move after you eat, there is some research that shows if you walk even for 10 minutes at 1 mile an hour, which is barely a stroll, that you can significantly bring your blood sugar levels down if you are pre-diabetic. Wow. And Also, the American Diabetes Association is just recommending last year for the first time that everybody with diabetes get up and walk, decrease sedentary time every 30 minutes. So that means standing and doing something, not just standing, but standing and walking, standing and doing some light lunges every 30 minutes, and you can, again, bring that blood sugar level back into control. Also, because muscles are such a big consumer of blood sugar, if you get them bigger, you can have even more control. So the recommendation is strength training twice a week for people with diabetes.
I remember once hearing that if you're watching TV, when you have a commercial break,
Exactly.
get up and move around. You know, make it an effort to go and get a glass of water, get up and just some type of movement, because then it becomes a trigger. Again, with the sedentary, not sitting, you know, for 2 hours at a time, but getting up and moving around. That's a great, you know, little tip.
Right, and the problem is so many of the shows that we watch now are commercial free.
Yeah, right.
And you don't have that cue anymore.
Right.
In that case, you can set your phone with an alarm. Some of the activity trackers that people can buy
Yes.
actually will
tell
buzz
you.
every hour to remind you to get up and move,
Yep.
which is a good way, because you need to make it something that you don't have to think about.
Right.
Yourself.
Make it more of a habit.
Exactly.
That's
right.
super. So when you do your, and this is kind of a little information about proper shoes, when you're getting out and doing that activity, proper shoes are huge in complementing doing some of that extra physical, whether it's walking or doing some strength training. And I'm just going to cover really quick. New Balance actually has a deeper toe box. For those that are pre-diabetic or diabetic, your feet are extremely important, and you need to take care of them by wearing the proper shoes. The numbers are staggering that improper footwear on a diabetic can actually lead to an ulcerated foot
Right.
and then amputation. So having proper footwear for a diabetic is something that you need to talk with your healthcare provider, and they will make recommendations.
And if I could just add
Yeah.
real quickly, the recommendation for everybody with diabetes is every time you go to the doctor, take your shoes and socks off.
Yep.
So that they can look at your feet.
And there are some that, depending if it's a podiatrist, and that's something that they do make recommendations if you are as a diabetic, that you see a podiatrist anywhere from 2 to 3 months, and they do require a visual inspection
Right. Yep. Very important.
of the foot. It's very, very important. And they will refer you potentially over to our store, Elias Shoes, here located in Marietta, because we do have a lot of shoes that are actually approved for diabetic feet. This happens to be one. This also is another one, and this is also another one. These just happen to be a diabetic approved shoe. So it doesn't have to look like a Herman Munster shoe, because that's a complaint that a lot of individuals, both male and female, they say, oh, but they're so big and bulky and ugly. Well, I'm
don't
sorry.
know. They
No,
don't know.
they just don't know that you guys, that there are other options out there besides that shoe. And you can come visit the store, and we can appropriately fit your diabetic foot if that's something that you are interested, so you can continue to have an active life. One other thing you were mentioning before about diabetes, what kind of prevention in diabetes, what kind of statistical outcome does that do by doing the movement?
Sure, sure. We know that if you have diabetes or prediabetes and you start to watch your diet and start to exercise, again, the chances are almost 100% that you can reverse that prediabetes. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. As a dietitian, I know that complicated doesn't work. In fact, we haven't done a real good job at teaching people to eat right because we tend to make it too complicated, or we have in the past. But simple things like if you are drinking sodas, cut those out. If you are eating large meals, cut back on the portion sizes and try to have a couple of little snacks throughout the day. Make sure you're getting adequate protein. A lot of people cut way back on their protein, and we need the protein, especially if you're going to start pumping weights, baby. You gotta get the right nourishment in for your muscles, for your body to support that.
That's super. So I just want to thank you again for coming.
My pleasure. So
and
great to
having
be
this
here.
conversation with everybody. Now, where can somebody find your book?
They can go online to Amazon. That is a possibility. Also, they can call me, or they can go on my website, which I believe is showing right now, and it is available through the website.
Very cool. And I know you're going to have a book signing party announcement celebration.
Exactly. We're going to have a book signing party on December 12th, and I'm scheduling this so that people can buy this as the gift of health for somebody important in their life. It will be 11 to 1 o'clock at Pewter Works in Murrieta.
And if they needed to reach out, if they didn't catch those dates, they can always reach you through social media.
Social media and through the website. They can also message me that way.
That's so cool. Thank you, Lisa, for coming
Thank you
out.
so
That's
much.
so sweet. That
Great
was so
to be
sweet.
here.
Thank you all for joining us at Shoe Cabinet TV. This was episode 13. And this last week I have had quite a few viewers come in, and if you happen to pop into the store, we're going to have a little notebook up there so you can give me ideas. I do have 3 other episodes that have all come from you, the viewer, that we will share here in the next couple weeks. We're going to do a couple of episodes about your feet and where have your shoes gone. And so if you get a chance to pop into the store, just write down or contact me through social media and we'll address your questions. Again, thank you and have a good evening.
All right, good night.